Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry for missing the live stream yesterday. Lots happened. I missed what happens. I missed one day, and it's like the day we have the most. Well, we have tons to talk about today. Catching up for yesterday. I totally forgot about an appointment I had early in the morning yesterday, so I wasn't able to make the live stream. But thanks for sticking with me. Always appreciate it. So for everybody that's kind of rolling in here, Tuesday morning, it's I was racing to get online. On the stream this morning, my camera is usually plugged in, and for some reason it's not plugged in. And of course, the battery is showing me red. It's plugged in, but so if you lose camera, I'll just warn everybody that's watching. If we lose camera, it'll just be for a second. Then I'll go to Plan B and switch cameras. But it hopefully will stick us through the charge. So as everybody rolls in here, good morning. Thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on the live stream replay, as always, we go live Monday to Friday, usually 8 o'clock to about 8:45. Have a good conversation. TFSAs, markets, and everything as where the conversation goes. So thanks for tuning in. Catch us live. It'd be great to have you here. Coffee crew rolling in. Let's say good morning. I'm in a good mood today. How's everybody? Let us know in the comments. It's definitely crazy out there. That's for sure. I'm Candace. Good morning. Always have you here. First one here today. Hopefully you didn't try and show up yesterday. I didn't post the stream, so but hopefully you had a good day yesterday. Lots happening over the weekend, that's for sure. And Stan, good morning. The regulars are all here. Good morning, Stan. Hopefully your day is going well. Hopefully your day is well. And MC, awesome to have you. Thanks for tuning in. Always good. The live stream yesterday, I did miss the live stream, and I knew I had an appointment, and I completely forgot about it and apologize because I didn't mention it on Friday that there would be no stream on Monday. But then I realized getting up when I went to schedule the stream on like Sunday night, I thought, I can't schedule a stream. I've got a appointment. So, but no, I was not buying the dip. But definitely interesting. Obviously, tons of stuff happening. Right, SVB on. We talked a little bit about it, I think, on last Friday. Silicon Valley Bank basically taken over by FDIC down in the United States. And then the whole thing, it was really interesting. It was a really interesting weekend. I was basically glued to Twitter all weekend, just because it seems to be it's the fastest place to find news and what the heck is happening. And was up, refreshing my feed, figuring out what the heck was happening. And then there's the whole announcement by the Fed in terms of buying their assets, and a whole bunch of stuff kind of going on. So almost too much stuff to talk about. And Paul, did Paul beat you today? No, I don't think he did. Or was that yesterday? Kind of looking for you, wondering where the heck I am. Trink, good morning. Good morning. Excuse me. Hopefully you're doing well. As far as the dip, MC, no, I did not do. You know what? I haven't even done my. I as I say every week, I like to do my regular dollar cost average deposit. I haven't yet. I kind of held off yesterday just because it was just so much stuff happening. Not to say I was looking for a deal or not looking for a deal, but. I just partly too as well being on the road. I didn't really have a ton of time to kind of really dig into what was going on. I didn't get back home until really afterwards, after the market closed. I was on enough to kind of see what the heck was happening. One thing that was that really jumped out at me was what happened with Bitcoin and a lot of the digital currencies. And that was kind of nice to see. So that's helping the portfolio. That is for sure. And then again, I noticed this morning, Bitcoin doing quite well. What I did notice we missed though is Candace's Chat GPT joke of the day, because there's more news. This is more news to talk about today. CPI is CPI day down in the States today too. But Chat GPT joke of the day: why did the economist break up with his girlfriend who had a hot CPI? These are terrible. Because she was too inflationary for his taste. That's good. Those are just bad. Those are just bad. Okay. Well, sorry, Paul. You know what? That chat didn't show up for me, Candace, in the live stream. Maybe happened before I pulled up my streaming program. It usually grabs all the chats, but maybe for some reason it didn't do it. So there we go. Congratulations, Paul. Good job. He made it. Okay, so there we go. Happy Tuesday. And yes, what a day yesterday. Can't believe how quickly markets recovered. It was Sunday was really interesting going into Monday, like what the heck was going to happen, but all signs kind of pointed to it was going to do something in a good sense. But yeah, definitely kind of a weird situation all around. And then yesterday, the bonds and everything else, it's like it's crazy what's kind of happening out there. I know from seeing looking at some of the other regional bank stocks showed up in my feed, they're not doing that great. Yeah, just interesting times all around, that's for sure. And also too, looking at some of the charts in terms of interest rates, because obviously CPI today, right? CPI came in at 6%, and I think that was kind of predicted. And the cat kind of got out of the bag a little bit. I think I was listening to what Biden had said last week, kind of going into the weekend about the CPI, and I think we were kind of expecting it to come in where they were predicting it as a good, coming down a little bit, and that came out today, 6%. But interesting looking at some of the charts and the way the market's predicting now that interest rates won't be going up on the 22nd. It's shifted from but this could be completely different today because I haven't dug into the news a lot today. But it shifted from literally down in the States raising it. I mean, Canada's staying a pause. I think we're kind of safe to say it's probably going to keep a pause in Canada. But in the States, it's gone from increase of possibly 50 basis points. Now they're saying maybe 25, maybe nothing, but then coming into shorter term, taking them down. So always interesting. And Robin Joseph, welcome to the stream. Robin, am I selling my stock? No, I didn't do anything yesterday. Didn't buy anything, didn't sell anything. So no, not selling. Everybody else can kind of weigh in on that. No, if you've been following the channel, mine's kind of a hold long-term thing, not panicking. Yeah. And Candace, that's unfortunate. Sorry, Candace, that always sucks. But that's trading, right? Hopefully it's minimal. Lost 900 on your opening trade yesterday as the market didn't tank the way it played. Okay, yeah, that's. I mean, not to say that I was looking to do anything yesterday. I mean, it just turned out that usually Mondays is when I put my dollar, my weekly deposit into it, and I just didn't yesterday, and not trying to play anything either way, but just kind of figured there's time. It's all my stuff is kind of long term, so I'll just kind of let it play out for a bit, and I'll put it in this week before the end of the week. So. And because that's the hard thing, you just don't know what the heck is going to happen. Sometimes all signs will point to, it's going to be, something go down, and then it does the opposite of what you think is going to happen. It's really hard to predict what the heck is going on. But it turned out, there we go. Okay, so it worked out. So down $20 for the day. Nothing wrong with down $20 for the day. Yeah, it's I mean, the one thing. It's hard these times. I think we're going to be in a volatile next little while. I mean, it's been like that for a little. It seems like that's all it's been. But I think we're safe to say that's going to continue. Yeah, MC. I think I was still seeing predictions of kind of 25. But it was interesting. Someone had shared a chart on Twitter about with it and showing that as it literally changed hour to hour yesterday. So again, today that could shift around, right? This is so much happening. Anything could change. It's on what the rate announcement's on the 22nd, I believe, March 22nd. And so it's as we see how much stuff can change over 48 hours, anything could happen by March 22nd. I mean, it's hard to really know. It's hard to predict what the heck is happening or going to happen. It seems it's not that far away, the 22nd, but it is so far away in the same time, because it's everything. Just look what happened over the weekend. So it's definitely hard. But before, you're right, it was 50 basis points or even 70. There was talk of high, quite substantial increases. So yeah. 6% inflation, while still in line, it is still high. Agree. Yeah, you don't. Oh, so you don't think they're going to pause? Maybe I think they'll do 25 basis points. It's interesting. I really don't know. That's what's so hard. I mean, we were predicting pretty confidently last week that it would be 50 basis points, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if there's a pause. I really wouldn't, but time will tell. We'll be here on the 22nd, right? So we can always kind of figure out what the heck is going on. But yeah, interesting times. That's for sure. That is for sure. I think everybody's portfolio is probably doing okay. Mine's held up pretty good. I'm not complaining. There was that obviously bit of a dip compared to yesterday going into today, but I mean that's still be careful out there, I think, is the best thing for people. Don't get too exuberant on one day of what the heck is happening. That's the thing. It's easy to get kind of sucked into, to just stick with your plan. I think that's the best course of action. That's what I'm taking. Don't have to rush into with any kind of fear of missing out on anything. That's for sure, because I think stuff can really quickly change. We'll have to see what plays out on there. Yeah, there we go. So much happening. It's crazy. So much happening. We'll be still digesting what the heck is happening. Yeah, interesting. What really surprised me was Bitcoin. That really jumped up the last couple days. It's been going crazy. So it's definitely helped the cryptocurrency positions that I have in my TFSA, which was nice because those were obviously, they were down. So portfolio holding up okay so far. So no complaints there. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's the whole thing, right? It's so they're in such a bind. Like they're really in a bind, and because they've been saying that they're really pushing to make sure that they are going to control and bring inflation back down, right? That's been the stance since rates started to increase. If they pause, yes, it's hard. It's hard to really know what the heck is going to happen. But then again, on the flip side is if they don't, are there any other? I mean, the whole big thing is what's going to happen with the any kind of, is there going to be other bank issues, right? If they keep raising rates, it's really hard to know what the heck is going to happen. Yeah, it's really hard. But employment's still strong. Yes. Yeah, it's crypto did. Yeah. Yeah, they did get a decent bump. And I mean, I read somewhere, MC, that read on Twitter over the weekend, there was something like 1 million new Bitcoin addresses apparently opened, which I guess a lot of people are getting, obviously, maybe thinking now. That's the thing. Bitcoin, take your money out of it. Obviously, not any kind of financial advice for anybody. Don't do research on crypto, definitely. But a lot of people taking money out of their banks, worried, putting it into Bitcoin. That seems to be the direction that that's the reason some people invest into it. Yeah, that's what's happened. And Candace, yeah, that's what I've been kind of seeing a little bit too. I didn't read the BNN interview, but I'm kind of that's my prediction, is sooner rather than later we're going to see rate cuts. I think as early as it's so hard. This could change in 2 days from now, but I think we're going to see rate cuts by the summer. Yeah, pretty quickly. and it's yeah. I'll have to pull up the graphs and stuff that I pulled up with the way the market's pricing it. But I think there will be. Yeah, I could see that. It's going to really depend on what the heck happens in the next, obviously with bonds and everything else. What the heck is going to happen? Yeah. Yeah, some of the, and there was another bank. Is it Signature Bank? I believe that they got closed down. They were apparently a fairly crypto friendly bank down. Signature Bank. You did mention it. Yeah, down in the States, they were pretty crypto friendly. That has been taken over by FDIC as well. Yeah, interesting times for sure. Yeah. Lots to digest. Definitely what's going on. It's interesting. I mean, the states is so different in their banking as than from Canada. That is for sure. With the smaller, a lot of smaller banks down in the state. Ours is very concentrated up here. The states definitely a lot different. And if yeah, good point. If inflation stays strong and they start cutting, expect hyperinflation to remain. I think we're going to be having a heightened inflation time for the next. I think it's going to be a while. I never did. I don't think they ever had the chance to bring it back down to 2% MC, really, in the short in as quick as they maybe wanted it to. I just don't see that happening. Employment is still very strong. I think employment will stay strong. There'll be. I mean, we're seeing layoffs, but the thing is, we're also seeing a lot of people exiting the workforce. Right? There's so many vacancies with a lot of things. It's I think we're going to be in. I mean, some of the things I've read is even saying it's going to be a decade of elevated inflation. And that wouldn't actually surprise me. That wouldn't actually surprise me. But definitely have to see. And good morning, Nadia. Welcome, channel members. I didn't thank the channel members. I know Candace is here, channel member. Nadia, channel member. That's a little blue little star. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. It's okay you're late. That's okay. If you slept in, that's fine. And they definitely are. They're no like a no win. There's like a no win situation kind of thing. They definitely are in a tough spot to see what it's yeah, super kind rock in a hard place. That's for sure. That is for sure. Let me just scroll up, make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. I don't think I did. That's good. Good. The For those that are watching, if you are new, don't forget, obviously hit the like button. It always helps out the channel. But also too, if you're new and you want to ask a question, don't be afraid to ask a question. Great group of people here. We can always kind of, if not answer your question, maybe steer you in the right direction. And it's always great to have new people tune in, and comment. That is a big question. How do you get rid of hyperinflation? Yes, in some ways you either handle it now or kick the problem down the road. I think we're kicking the can down the road with a lot of things. MC, it definitely impacts the lower income cohort more than obviously the higher earners for sure. But yeah, it's I mean, to get it in line, you obviously have in the past it would have to you have to raise rates more than what the inflation rate is to bring it down. There's absolutely no way. We see it now. What happened with where the rates are? What issues happened? And if they keep raising, is that going to open up more cans of worms? It's really hard to tell. So it's almost like they're caught in that spot. What the heck do they do? Does inflation, do they let it run hotter than they maybe want to for the next little while? But it's really hard to know. It's really hard to know. I have a feeling the can gets kicked. Usually the can gets kicked down the road. as much as this kind of seems to be what happens. But it will have to time will definitely tell what the heck is going to happen in the future. There we go. And I guess we could ask. We didn't really do the poll. Is if what everybody watching thinks they're going to do. Obviously, are they? Canada said they're going to pause. So I think that's kind of. I think if anything, TIFF on our end here in Canada, with everything that happened down in the States, I think TIFF's kind of breathing a bit of sigh of relief, a little bit, kind of going, okay, we've paused. It's kind of like we can carry on with that, but then it's the States that's kind of in that conundrum right now. But let me know again everybody's thoughts. What the heck is gonna happen as we go here? Yeah, there's no. It's such a yes. You do handle it now or let it run. I think it's gonna let. I think it's gonna. They're gonna let it possibly run a little bit, higher than what. I mean, we're seeing it obviously 6%. Still, it's high, right? But I think it's a pipe dream to think that they're actually going to get it down to 2%. But we might see some. We might. I don't really. It's hard. It's really hard to predict what the heck is going to happen. It's just it's things can change so quickly, which is crazy as well. We could have something completely shift everybody's what the heck is going to happen, everybody's sentiment 2 days from now. So yeah, it's hard. But no one, and your point makes sense. No one really knows. It's really hard to know what the heck is going to happen. Zach, good morning. How are you? Hopefully you are doing well. Thanks for tuning in. We're just kind of talking about like literally everything that's been kind of going on, which is a lot. It's a lot to kind of digest. What's kind of happening? There'll be a new movie about this for sure. Oh, and Candace's prediction is 25. I'm thinking pause, but that could change. That could change. The Fed will still go to 25 only because of the 6% CPI today. If it had not been as hot, then I think there's a chance he would have paused to ease the bank pressure. So it's 25. Hey, I mean, this is the thing. They can always do it and then walk it back. It's just that fine line, right? And figuring out where to kind of put it. It's yeah, and you're doing good. Yeah, that's true, right? If you actually, I mean, if you want to be, it's such a doom and gloom. It's such a doom and gloom outlook, but it's true, right? And you'd have to just almost kind of like, we know it's going to happen eventually. I think. Hopefully, it's not. And you say like, I hope you're dead before North America gets there. I hope I am too, because it's going to be it's not going to be a good. It's not going to be a good time. I hope it's a long way off. It just seems like everything time something happens, it seems like it's getting closer and closer. But I think, you just don't want to think like that either. That it's going to be, it's going to happen in our lifetimes. But again, who knows? Who really knows? Yeah. And that's kind of what we were mentioning a little bit earlier. I mean, as I was mentioning earlier, Zach, I didn't do my weekly deposit just because yesterday I was on the road for most of the day. But yeah, I think it's just, that's the thing. In the long term, you have to kind of zoom out a little bit too, and make sure. I think everybody should be investing for the long term and not. Unless you're any kind of day trader, be careful, obviously. But if we're doing for retirement, it is long term. This is hopefully just the part of the road to get there. The road is not straight. It goes like this, up and down, and it causes you stress and pressure. But eventually, we'll hopefully get to where we want to go. And yeah, there will be definitely. I don't know. I watched on the weekend. It's a great movie. I watched. Well, I've seen Margin Call before, but I watched the big. Everybody probably a lot of people probably watched the Big Short on the weekend. But that's a great. I mean, that's a really good movie. Good way of explaining what happened back in 2008. Completely kind of different than what happened over this weekend. But there will be. I'm sure there will be some. I was kind of thinking. You definitely don't want to be. I wouldn't want to have been, the powers that be over the weekend, trying to figure out what the heck to do. But Margin Call was good. And there was also that one that I think MC recommended it that I had never seen actually. Was that it was a TV movie that Too Big to Fail. I found that one on the weekend too, and I watched that one on the weekend. So that's obviously a good one to read too, to kind of figure out what the heck was going on. So there will be movies about what happened with SVB Bank and all this things happening down in the States. So MC is with Candace and MC same boat, 25 basis points based on 6% and Powell's determination and data dependency, but could be wrong. That's the thing. It's super hard to predict anything, and I think we just need to see what keeps happening in the meantime, right? Things can just swing and shift and do whatever as we're seeing. So we'll have to see. Yes, I did see that one. That was the one that had a lot of I think it had a lot of animations and stuff in it. I did see that one. That was a good video. And yeah, if anybody's watching, yeah, check that out. It's about 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't super long, but it says the histories of how it kind of goes, with that. It was, that was a good video. That was a good video as well. MC, good call on that one. I also watched, there's a really good, let me try and find it. I'm just trying to think. It's a really good video on how how banking works, how fractional banking has works, and it's with really good animations, and gives you really good understanding. It was. I'm just trying to find the, and I'll share it. Let me see. I think. Let me just find it. It's by a channel called. Make sure I've got the right channel. There it is. It talks about it's great. It talks about like fractional reserve banking, talks about moving money, digital money, why moving it around. It goes back into history. It's a super good. I will share it here, and you can copy it for after the stream, MC. Oops, that's not the right link. Let's see if I can copy it. There we go. Oops. There we go. It's on Wendover Productions. It's called Money's Mostly Digital, so why is moving it so hard? And it just talks about, it's interesting because it relates it to like basically to fruit, like apples and oranges, and why and moving stuff around, and it's interesting. You'll find that interesting as well. It's about 20 minutes animation. So check that one out. I should share that I'll share it over in the community tab as well. I'll keep this bookmarked. But that was a good one. That's a good channel actually as well. It's called Wendover. It's Wendover Productions, and they do kind of a lot of info videos that do a really good job of explaining things. There's videos on like logistics of trains and shipping and all sorts of kind of neat different animations, airlines, and yeah, it's definitely a good channel to watch about things and just different things. There's a whole bunch. There's no shortage of kind of interesting mini documentaries on there. Yeah, yeah, it's worth watching. It's worth watching that one. Um, it really, and it's kind of along the lines of you know, currency and for that video was good. But for everybody else, if you want, you can copy that, and then if not, I'll put it over. I'll put it on the community tab. There's so much good information on YouTube and stuff to watch. But back to that Ray Dalio one, that was a good one as well. A friend of mine had shared that one with me actually. Yeah, I was talking about that with my coworkers yesterday. Short term, the bonds had the biggest drops. Like I think for short term bonds was I think since like the 80s, if I'm not mistaken, 80s or 90s, like the biggest in a long time. And yeah, it's if that was part of that conversation, if rates come down, will real estate get kind of bubbly again? I think it will, but I know with the thing with real estate, it's still expensive. The prices haven't adjusted, but again, there we go. If rates do come down, are we going to see the increase? It's hard to know. The biggest thing we have right now, kind of in my area out here, MC, is and the prices have held up. The prices are down in general out here, but there's not a lot of inventory, so there's still it's still kind of a seller's, the sellers aren't budging on their prices a lot, and there's not a ton of inventory in certain areas. That's held up better than others, but yeah. But if rates come down, yeah, I think it will be. There's definitely a lot of people on the sidelines wanting to buy, but held back a little bit because rates are high, or there's no inventory. It's true. It's true. It is always expensive. There's never a time when someone says like, yeah, 100. If you look back, you go, it was so cheap. But again, it's woo crazy price right now for a lot of things, and a lot of times it just makes more sense for people to. I mean, obviously rents are expensive too, but sometimes it makes more sense with price wise and interest rates and everything else. Sometimes cheaper just to rent. Yeah, it's always kind of been like that. If you're in a long enough time frame, right? I mean, if people, it got the last year was, well, not this last year, but the year before now. This time last year, prices were kind of the peak, and it's if they come down now, but let's see, if you think in 20 years, then probably, yeah, they might look cheaper again. It's hard to know, or maybe they'll be flat for 10 years or something like that. But I think in the long term fundamentals, like you said, fundamentals kind of remain strong. But it's probably not a bad thing to own. If we go back to currency collapse and everything else, assets like that are a good thing to probably own. It's just getting there's obviously a lot of stress for people in the shorter terms with rates, right? There is, you read that a lot. You read that a lot on Twitter. People having hardship because of payments. It's hard. I think we'd be having more problems if because we read like with the banks that have fixed payments on their variable rates, because a lot of people took variable rates. They have the fixed payments on there. If those payments were floating, we would see a lot. We'd have I think a lot different situation in terms of housing, I think. But hard to say for that. Cultural belief, home ownership, and interest rates will most likely continue to drive price regardless. Yeah, it just seems to always. That's the thing with Canada. Real estate, it always seems to go up. I think we always. Yeah, it's it's not cheap. It's way over. I think it's just way overpriced. But I don't know if there's places that people might want to be. I mean, I think we're seeing people moving around a little bit, going to where things are less expensive, prices are less expensive. People will start to maybe move around a bit more with work if they're able to and that kind of thing. But good morning, Chad. Good to have you here. Welcome. More upper middle class will own real estate rather than lower to lower middle class. Yeah, and that's kind of where it's at. Like this is the thing, MC. It's hard for a it's hard for someone that is making a higher like even the higher end salary to qualify to buy these to buy a property. That's the hard that's it's insane, and it's part of it doesn't necessarily make sense. Like if someone you just kind of if you're making good money, it's definitely very difficult to qualify. I mean, add in, then all of a sudden you have a car loan payment. That's I mean that's the biggest killer. Those are the biggest killer of getting approved for a mortgage is having a car loan, because the payments on car loans are just outrageous for a lot of people right now. And yeah, it's tough. And as Chad, you probably know, it's probably quite a surprise on what you can actually qualify for looking with what a mortgage. Yeah, that's a good point, right? With the U.S., it's definitely it's mobility, and they have, I mean, yeah, with population different areas in the states for sure. I mean, like California has the population more than isn't it more than the population of Canada just in California. So it's like it's just completely different, and that's the problem. We have these concentrated areas. We have so much land here. It's just nobody wants to live where there's room. It's it's not the most desirable to live in some of these northern areas in Canada. And it's we're concentrated, right? GVA, Toronto, Montreal, and those are why everything's kind of so elevated. That is for sure. It's true. And yeah, there's lots of room in Saskatchewan. That's the thing, right? But not everybody doesn't necessarily wants to go to those places. Work from home seems to be dying a slow death in Canada. Yeah, more and more people I think are getting kind of directed to go back to work, that kind of stuff. So, oh, you get yeah seasonal, yeah. So go back, yeah. There you go, back to work. Yeah, if you're working, it's easy to get qualified. It's just sometimes you just don't get qualified for as much as you hoped or are able to buy something, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And that's the thing. You know what, MC, I don't know whether I mean you'd had some obviously with the market yesterday. Banks are going to be, I think they're not going to drop right away. They're always slow to give back. We'll have to see how things pan out before they kind of start to move. But I think we'll probably see if the short terms keep like that. Yeah, we'll see some rooms. And yeah, if the rates are less, you can get approved for higher. But good call. Don't borrow at all if you're not able to. Um, Definitely. And that's yeah. Don't want a big house, more bill. That's exactly it. Big house, big bills, more taxes, more heat to pay. Uh, yeah, that's the hard part. I don't want a big house either. I live in a little apartment. It's great. It's perfect. Good enough size. It's enough. It's enough for it's enough room, and you can only be in one room at a time anyway. So if you don't have a giant place, you can't really, I don't know, you can't really necessarily enjoy it. But uh, I have more than enough space, and um, it's good. Bank of Nova Scotia. Bank of Nova Scotia actually, Chad, has the highest rates right now of all the big banks. You check out go to uh, take another walk around across the street to TD Canada Trust. Yeah. Scotiabank has had the highest rates in the mortgage market in Canada for quite a while now. They don't want mortgages. Yeah. And yeah, interesting about that, actually, MC. If rates are going down, it might be okay to be in a variable. It's so hard, right? It's so hard. But yeah, it's difficult choice. I think probably shorter term is probably the better for the gives you some maybe flexibility short term, and then decide what to do long run. It's really hard to know. There's definitely pros and cons for kind of choosing both and fixing, going variable, just to see what you think what's going to happen with rates. Now, obviously, like as of today, if you think rates are going to be starting to come down by summer, variable might be the way to go. Hard to know. TD won't touch you. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, RBC is pushing for people to come back. That's right. Work from home is called reduced efficiencies. It's causing higher expenses, I assume, to make up for inefficiencies. Yeah, makes sense. They have all those office. They have all that office space that they need to that they're paying for, that they need to fill up, right? And for various, yeah, we are closer to the top. Yeah. I think, yeah, I don't think we'll see the low, like, I mean, but again, never say never, right? But I think that's pretty much given. I think we're going to be elevated compared to that, but we're definitely closer. We are definitely closer to the top. Yeah. If anything, I still think rates possibly coming down sooner rather than later. But we'll know. We'll know on the 22nd. We'll know in the next kind of next week, essentially. So we won't have to wait. We won't have to wait that long. There we go. Coming up to quarter two. Thanks everybody. These are always fun. I missed, and I'm sorry again for missing out yesterday. But we're doing a pretty good job at keeping it going every day. I will be back. We'll be back tomorrow. It's Wednesday. I always like to mention, as we get to this point, if you haven't hit the like button and you're watching, go ahead and hit the like button. That's always nice. Helps out the channel. I will get a update video filmed. I didn't get a chance over the weekend. Just busy time, but I will get a video update of the portfolio. Get that posted up on the channel for everybody to see. Hopefully today kind of keeps on doing okay. It's always kind of nice when it's green days on the portfolio as opposed to otherwise. And yeah, time does fly. Time flies, and time seems to fly in general these days. Not just on the stream, but then it's always good. It's been good, busy with work. So things kind of sometimes on the channel get thrown a bit to the back burner, but not the live streams. We keep doing these if we're able to. So always appreciate it. On that note, I'll get that video posted when I get that filmed. Thanks to channel members, as always, everybody that's joined the channel, that's going on. In terms of coming forward, I've got Jordan. I did that interview with Jordan for his channel, Cover Call Investing, and I will post that over on the community tab as well. I haven't posted that yet. I will, Jordan. I haven't forgot. And I think Jordan's going to be coming on one of the live streams. He sent me an email, so we're going to set up and have maybe Jordan over on the come up on one of the morning live streams when he has some time. So we'll get that set up, so it won't be just me chatting with everybody else. We'll have some other commentary as well, which will be good, I think. So MC going in. Okay, there we go. Yeah, BEQT. You were mentioning you were waiting to kind of go in, so there you go. Still sitting on cash though. And crypto is doing good. I've been looking at that, Chad. I know you're big into crypto. So you took some profits this time. There you go. Nothing wrong with took profits. Nothing wrong with taking money off the table and locking in some money. That's for sure. Nothing. Let's leave it at that. That's a good way to end the stream. Don't be afraid to take profits, because as we see, because things can shift like literally completely overnight, and you'll wish you maybe did. So nothing wrong with taking a little bit along the way to use it to invest another day. Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. It's and if you buy the dip if it comes back. There we go. All good. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Always appreciate it. It's coming up to 9 o'clock, so it is time for me to actually to get to work. But I appreciate everybody taking their time out of the morning, watching the live streams. Do really appreciate it. Learn a lot. Have a lot of fun with these. It gets my day going. Gets the day going started right. So do appreciate it. And for everybody that does watch on the replay, thank you as well on the replay. And if you are able to join live, it'd be great to have you. We'd get a good group, good coffee crew people here. Good morning to start the day. Thanks everybody. We'll catch you all in the next one.